All right, everybody in 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody back to the season 5 of the Shinobi Unfolding. I am your host of the night. Is your boy Jay Aguila. And here I'm with some big hitters, people who are doing big thing online on the twitch.tv streaming. First of all, I got my boy JL Fit Chef Streams with the Z at the end. What's up, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Thank you for having me as always, Jay.
I also have my a teacher, a person that I love when he does his anime talk time to time. Give it up to Scott, aka PKKER Scott.
I'm so glad you said it the way you did, man. I love you for that. I love you, man. That's what's up.
I was gonna butcher it. I was gonna butcher it even if I attempted. And you guys know him. You guys love him. He's also my co-host on the wrestling podcast that we do, the Providence Lucha Talk. Also newly on the twitch.tv, Luis Marcano TV. What up, Luis?
Hello.
How you feeling, my brother?
Not too bad. I guess it's my second or third time back at it again. So hopefully,
first time on season 5, though.
Yeah.
So
let's continue. Let's continue the progress here.
Yeah, nice. And before anything, guys, how's your anime journey? Anything new? Anything you want to share before we get started?
They need to hurry up on My Hero. The weekly thing. It's just driving me nuts. So I don't know if I should just stop and watch everything at once or just wait for a weekly. But it's just like
I'm assuming you're caught up manga wise because it's not quick enough for you. Or
I've been reading ahead, but it's just like yeah. But they just need to hurry up. I've watched all the movies. I watch everything. It's just like waiting for the weekly thing. It's just like,
what do you want them to do? You know how long it takes to animate an episode, bro? What do you want them to do?
They had a year off. COVID. Couldn't you be working, like drawing and making stuff?
Even with COVID, remember, they also took breaks. You know what I'm saying?
No, true.
There was a time that they did like half of the stuff till March, and then the other stuff resumed during August. So, they got lives. You know what I'm saying? Safety.
Let me ask you something. Which has better animation, One Piece or My Hero Academia? Just throw it out there.
We're doing this right now.
For me, real quick. My Hero, I think.
Are we talking about from like the original, like the original start?
Overall, not Wano. Not Wano. Wano cannot be touched as far as a weekly anime is concerned. I already said that.
Yeah, that's not fair.
It's not. In general, as a whole series from the beginning up until like where you've seen it, Jay, in the Pirate War, correct?
I made it in the introduction to the Pirate War.
All right, right about there. So you impel down. So
yeah.
Or Undersea.
Yeah.
From that point, in My Hero where it's at right now, not movies considered at all.
I would say One Piece has more intricate drawing, like it's bigger, like landscapes and more like lane and everything. So I guess it's more art, more drawing. But I feel like for me, graphics wise and how they portray things and everything, I prefer My Hero visually than One Piece.
Okay, so My Hero 1, Scott.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna just be real. Like early One Piece animation, real rough sometimes, man. Like Dragon Ball super rough. My Hero's been clean pretty much the entire time. It hasn't faltered. It just really hasn't. Their effects have actually gotten a lot better.
They have.
I mean, My Hero, for the fact that, it's, 2016, 2015, it started and it had that new technology, new artwork, and the detail that they placed for background, as well as motion expression. Remember when Bakugo was fighting or got swallowed by that group? That detail was pretty freaking awesome. And All Might versus what's his name again? Zumo.
One for All.
No,
the
Numu. No, Namus. That right there, that detail right there is just like But One Piece has story. You gotta give. I'm not
talking about that. I'm not talking about that. Keeping it short, like artists, you want.
It would.
I agree. Look, we got 4 votes, including myself here, that agree that My Hero is a better looking anime. And my point in case is with a show like that, Wano, where it's at now, takes 3 to 4 months to animate one episode. Can you imagine what the better looking My Hero Academia time it takes to animate it? Yeah. You got to be patient.
It takes a while.
Otherwise, you end up like I forget his name, but yeah, you'll end up like any of these manga creators.
Or even how they did DBZ, they just like not copy and paste it, but they took some shortcuts at the end. Like I know for when the first when they turned into Super Saiyan, it was supposed to be a different color, but it was just easy drawing like different, like specific colors to make it quicker.
Animation suffers.
Yeah.
We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
We've seen animes save time, like Fire Force. Hate to bring it up, but case in point, Jay's opinion of that animation at times was on point, but they had their reasons. Because if they still have a fun, creative vibe to them, it doesn't take all their energy to do it, and they can continue to give us good content. Now you have the manga creator of Jujutsu Kaisen's health suffering. His editorial team has to tell him to take a month off, and he has to agree to it. Normally, these manga creators take 2 weeks off because they need time to heal up, right? It takes a lot of work to do what they do. This guy needs a month, you know, and in order, and the whole fan base supports him. It's crazy. So again, I get you're impatient with My Hero, but you need to be patient because they're just like with anything that we do. There's a huge creative process behind it. Huge.
And for those who don't know what JL just spit or shared with us is, you know, recently we got the news that Jujutsu Kaisen will be in hiatus for right now a month. What it seems to be is like, I guess, in my personal opinion, mental health. He's tired. He needs to rest. He has to refresh the mind, the juice, the creativity in order to be pushing on, because I guess it's just taking a lot of energy out of him. Those who don't know, Akutami, the creator, you know, he is one of the artists who was also part of Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, and Neon Genesis Evangelist. I always mess that up.
Evangelion.
That shit. Oh my god. I know it's a classic.
Worst story ever.
But he published Jujutsu Kaisen back in 2017, 2018. The animation started to be being picked up. And, you know, all it is just like, you know, he needs a break. I mean, and honestly, Lewis, JL, even Scott, you guys work some hectic jobs. Sometimes you guys push yourself more than the actual limitation that your job give you to work past 50, 60 hours. How do you guys do it at times? You know what I'm saying?
With everything great, there comes a sacrifice, man.
Ooh, JL, that was deep.
But also something like if you like something, you also have to make time. I don't know. That's kind of like watching anime and some other shows. I make time for it or like sacrifice from someplace else to, but I feel like I always trying to make some type of time to, I don't know, decompress or just get into that world, I guess.
I mean, being Scott, you being a full-time dad, you know what I'm saying? A great dad, amazing dad that you are. I mean, how are you able to keep your mental health and also give yourself time to give yourself a break and also be able to enjoy the stuff that you do, like the gym, the creating of your 3D printers and all that good stuff?
Shout out to the 165 overhead press over here.
Yo, so I wanna come clean with that, man. That was an accidental miscalculation with mathematics on my part.
Oh, really? I didn't even look at the weights.
Yeah, no, I didn't either, apparently, because those 35s I thought were 45s, but they were 35s. I just didn't feel like putting my 45s on because I was lazy, started through 10s. So it was really only like 145, but
That's still good, bro. That's amazing.
Yo, it was actually a lot easier putting it up, man, than I thought. Wade put it up, so I got a lot out of it. So awesome. I think I could do 165. I definitely think going easy. Yo, honestly, man, whenever my kids, my son naps because he's still like young enough for naps. My daughter does like some quiet time where she'll watch something, or she'll do like some ABC Mouse stuff, man, to like get her like learning capabilities like going before she goes start school. So during that time, I usually have like an hour to maybe 2 hours of window opportunities. Sometimes I'll watch anime then. I'll work out downstairs when I can. If I have prints that I want to start working on, I'll do it then. If I'm home during the week or in the weekend and my wife's not around, I use the opportunity after my kids go to bed to just like cram everything, like working on the prints that I've already got out there, man, sanding, welding, painting whenever I get a second with that. Anime too, man, just like when I'm at work, I'm eating, I try to cram in like one episode at least. I just watched another episode of Kisniver, man, an anime a friend of mine, Nelson, suggested a while back. He actually was very bold and said that if Keith Sniper came out the same time Demon Slayer did, he would have voted Kishinever versus Demon Slayer. So I was like, with both statements like that, I want to know why you're saying this. I decided to start watching it.
Hey, whoa.
And I'll talk about the anime like a different day though, man.
Right.
But even like manga, man. In between sets when I'm working out, read a couple, like anything, man. Bathroom.
I used to do that. I haven't done that in so long. Sheesh.
Which is why when you guys are talking about what we're watching, I've been reading. JL, you're gonna be real proud of me, man. I'm less than 25 chapters away from being current with One Piece. 25 chapters, man. I went from 200 to less than 25, man. And Wano is, oh my god, amazing, dude! It's so amazing right now. One Piece is like at its peak right now.
It's wild.
It was really tough, and right now it is so cool. Right now, absolutely amazing, dude.
How do you like Zoro's
very
swords?
Impressed. Dude, they're so dope. Yo, the red scabbards, the 9 scabbard sunrise red
samurai.
Those guys are so cool, man. Like every character.
It's a strong reference to the 7 samurai.
There's so many cool characters right now. Even bad guy wise, man. Even like the villains right now, man. There are just so many characters. I almost lose track. There's just too many of them. Like
my hero has big job.
Yeah, unbelievable. I don't want to go on a huge rant about it. We can talk about it sometime. I wanted to tell you that the other night, and I didn't get a chance to, man. But that's what I've been really doing, man. I'm trying to cram it. It's mad good.
So right there is great demonstration, like us being 4 individuals who don't have nothing to do with anime. So imagine the creators, imagine the authors. They take, I think, JL, you made a real good point before we started recording, is like, it takes time. You know what I'm saying? How long does One Piece with the Wano edition take in order to make that masterpiece?
Like 3 to 4 months to make one Wano episode.
Wow. 3 to 4 months.
There's so many tiny lines in the art style. The reason that I had said it when it first started too, I was like, this whole anime just took a whole jump with animation. I think I said it in season 4. Now I think about it, or season 3, whenever Wano was like at its midway point. They just have done incredible work, and Toei has done an incredible job as far as a weekly anime to keep a show within a few weeks pace of the manga. They try to do 1.5 manga issues every episode. That is a lot of drawing to then animate. You know what I mean? Especially when they're the real Scott. You've seen it. How many characters Oda starts to introduce in these fights, even though most of them will not matter. There's so many different designed characters for this arc because of the Zoan fruit concept. The I don't want to ruin it. It's just a fruit concept going on in the show, and there's a lot of other things that they open up that they haven't done since we first saw Gold Roger when we were kids. It's crazy. So the fact it's getting that respect.
Dude. Yep.
No. Even further back, bro. You wouldn't even. You get to see Gold Roger and someone else go at it for the first time. That's what kind of arc this is. There's a flashback. That's one of the. There's a flashback within this anime right now that is just. It's been everything we've wanted to see since we were kids. But the fact that it's getting that treatment that the animation is getting, there's no other way Oda would have done it, because he's treated it like it is Japanese theater, the way it's structured. I don't know the names of the way the arcs go, but the way that the acts close and open between the story, they actually do like an animated episode, and they got the guitar going, like it's got its own theme. It's very celebratory of Japanese culture in its way too. Like One Piece has been so far separated from like traditional samurai culture. And Wano has not only brought that into it, but it's introduced its characters that way with the way they dress, the locations, just all the concepts in the show's blowing up, man. It's wild.
Now, that's a reference to a good anime, right? Imagine those that did some terrible oopsie, I'm going to say. For an example, Black Clover, the ocean bottom arc. That animation was basura, 1, because of budget, and 2, it was rush because they try to stay weekly after weekly producing these type of anime, where we could have seen such a beautiful artwork from that battle itself, especially when Captain Yano was introducing the dark slash or dimensional slash for the first time.
Captain Yama? I don't even watch
Yami. Captain
Yami. We're all wrong.
No. When he introduced that dimensional slash for the first time, my god! But the animation was a little bit weak for that.
But that should have been a huge moment, and it wasn't. But then you got a moment where Zoro goes ham in Wano, the most incredible fight done by
Is it the one in the snow
studio? Yeah, you've seen it.
On Twitch? Yes, I did.
Oh my god,
that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
The Purgatory Onigiri, the animation behind that, like there's the video
for that clip.
Yeah, watch it. There's an evolution of Zoro's attacks, and I watched it with my girl this morning, ironically, because I knew we were going to talk about something like this. And you see it when he first does it. It's like a single animation frame transition where he's standing there, he does a sword move, and then he's on the other side of the guy. Yep. The guy goes down. Mm-hmm. The Onigiri that just happened in Wano is this crazy dimensional cube explosion from the ground that pops up, and he dashes forward, and it's like Midoriya turning into pure light in the movies when he just like it's like that, and then he cuts a guy after, and the explosion he leaves behind is just crazy. Like the level of the character is swords, on. Right? No, that was with 2 swords and a scythe from the other guy. Because
scythe? That's right.
Yeah, because he hasn't had a 3rd sword the whole arc. That's the only reason he's been underpowered.
I did not know that. I just saw that. I saw that clip, and I'm like, bro, I gotta get into my One Piece game because this is really good. Wano is stepping up.
After this arc, let's just put a nip in the bud about One Piece because we can go on the whole episode for it.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just say that after this arc, when Wano closes, there's a war coming, and I'll say it again: Oda is setting up for the biggest war that's ever been illustrated. So
he says 10% of One Piece.
Wano is 10% of One Piece of everything you've seen. It's 10%. It's massive.
Wow.
And it's finally opening the story up. It's fucking incredible.
And that's about like nearly 400 to 500 episodes, I believe.
No, it's 980.
Wait, that's all Wano? Wait, even for the
beginning? No, it's total. Wano is somewhere in like the I want to say 100 plus range. It's,
100 plus range?
But there's 3 other arcs that embody everything that's happening in Wano before.
It's the first, second, and third act.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Beautiful.
Yes. And then this third act breaks down into like 7 different acts within itself.
This is not a One Piece episode, but we can't just stop. We can't get away from it. We can't.
Anyways. But well, I mean, again, let's talk about that though. The work that goes into these animes. Jujutsu Kaisen is an amazing show for how many episodes
from the start. From the start.
Lewis, you're recently exposed to it, right? What do you think?
Yeah, I started watching some like when you guys sent me the link. I was like, let me just watch at least the highlights to get because some of them you have to like no, but just to get into and stuff. But it's not intense, but it's good. Like the fight scenes are crazy. I have to get like that more into the story, but so far what I've seen, I'm getting hooked.
Bro. It's humorous as hell, and all the references to other shows in it are crazy. It's like the most modern, hip anime that's out. It captures all generations.
And I want to say this now because I missed my opportunity on episode 2 with y'all, and I'm not going to miss this opportunity. I called it. I called that Jujutsu Kaisen was going to be the anime of like 2020, 2021.
But you doubted it at first.
No, not during the award show. That award show episode, you guys put it down because it was fresh, and you guys were worried that the story might, go down the hill.
How many had failed us up to that point?
Hey, but I believe in Jujutsu though. But hey, I believe in Jujutsu Kaisen from the start. I was like, yo, this anime is special, and I'm glad that it delivered and put all the naysayer to be yay setter. And I just want to say, I told y'all. That's all I want to do. I just want to say
that first episode set itself up for that tone too, because it was so good.
Bro. The detail, guys, the detail of every little stuff, like it will, the backgrounds itself, it would look like, hey, it's not important, but yet it's still part of the story in a sense too. Elements like that, the box that the finger was like living in the whole time, you'd be like, oh, that's nothing. But then when you actually see Homeboy goes to it and it was actually a gatekeeper to it, you're like, this is ingenious. And then the battle scene itself too. Oh God, my Lord. And this kid didn't even have swallowed the finger yet.
No, and he just jumps up the fucking like 8 stories up and comes through the window. You're like, wait, he can do this?
And this is just episode 1. This is the crazy part. And when we are introduced to Gojo and his ability, that's beauty.
That's just not really fair.
What's not fair, Scott? Come on, talk to me.
Gojo, man, he's just not a fair character.
He's a Kakashi that we always wanted.
Why? Yo, he stays paying people to do things. He's dirty at the same time. This guy got his finger everywhere, man.
He has
Sure
to,
is.
man. You know what it is? Always be 5 steps ahead of the game. So the guy knows what he wants, and I can't wait
So-
until what's the plot twist to it.
With that in mind, it's such a good show, right?
Yep.
And we were just talking about what it takes to make good animation. And, when an anime is at its peak is when it looks its best, usually. The fact that show has remained so consistent, and even with the episodes that are in between transitions, story-wise, they are still so good. There was that one episode where they're playing baseball in between, and that was considered probably the only filler episode you could find. And even at that, it was still a good episode because one of the characters learned something in that episode to use later on, and it was such a small thing against such a big opponent. You know what I mean?
So it was like
So good.
/filler type of episode because it was still relevant.
Yeah.
Yep.
For the show to be able to achieve that kind of balance, I think the creator deserves the time off, if not more. You know what I mean? Take a huge break. I don't understand why these guys got to constantly run themselves into the ground just because of fan demand. I mean, if you got to wait for something, you wait for something.
And for those fans who are like outrageous and mad,
there's a lot of fan support.
Screw you.
But the other ones on the other side, man, that's unneeded.
No, the other side, that's what we are. You know what I'm saying? We're on the other side of support, the importance of mental health. You know what I'm saying? The important, look what we talked about not too long ago about the creator of Berserk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He said it himself, like life is too just
crazy timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I bet he was like a topic of conversation in that studio where it's like, Berserk was really good. We're looking pretty good right now. Maybe he should take a break before we don't have a job anymore because he's the only one that knows how to write this show.
And bro, I feel like everybody was like, you know what? This is a wake-up call. You know what I'm saying? Just like we just explained. It was a wake-up call. It was like, yo, if we don't take care of our people now, we're gonna be like Apple. You know what I'm saying? As soon as Steve Jobs lost his job, Apple has not been the same ever since. So, do we want?
They don't love you until you're gone, bro.
Woo!
Facts.
Boy in case.
Facts.
Boy in case.
I feel like
that's why I love Oda now, because everybody's gonna jump on One Piece when he does die, unfortunately, and he's probably not gonna be able to finish it.
Yeah, but I feel like now that like a lot of artists and creators are taking time off, I feel like it increases not the demand, but like it allows the piece to like, I don't know, breathe. I guess it's not like back to back.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. For me, it's like a consumer. Like I mentioned before, I just want my stuff now. But like we as consumers don't think about, I guess, the process, which we should be more, I guess, conscientious about it. But I don't know. I feel like even they've done it with other like not anime like shows. Like I know they did it for Game of Thrones and stuff. Some other ones, they like waited a year or so for you, like then people really, when it came out, people were, I guess, more willing to seek after it because it's just like the gap in between. But it's a tough balance between like consumer and like, I guess, the creative part.
Very valid point. But what we all have to say to Mr. Gigi Akutami, rest well, brother. Don't rush. We'll be happy to receive future of your mangas and future episode of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen, man. We love you for that. Now,
we will be sifting through the trash while you rest. No worries. We'll find some gold somewhere.
And Scott?
You're right, man. Yo, rest up. This ain't a race. We don't have to get to the finish line fast. It's a marathon, man. Pace yourself, friend.
This is not Detective Conan. All right? You're good. Like, you're good, brother. We ain't going nowhere. Well, with that being said, guys, one thing we all have in common is that we are streamers in some weird shape or form. I know Scott been doing for quite some time. JL, a Twitch affiliated not too long ago. Me and Lewis, a little bit of a baby in the game. But guys, talk to me, guys. Streaming. Is it what's your thoughts on it in general? Like, what is streaming to you? When just that question itself, what is streaming to you? Let's start with Scott and then bring it down to Jay out.
Streaming to me is it's just like with most things that aren't your full-time job. It's a hobby for the most part, unless you make it your full-time job. And when you do make it your full-time job, just like a full-time job, you have to put more effort into it than you're getting in return. You're going to be streaming hours, long hours with very few views, if none at all. And your return is going to be like nothing. You shouldn't even be expecting return to begin with. So if you're not just doing it because you love doing it, just to do it, then it's going to be tedious for you. You're going to start feeling like it's a waste of time. But I mean, listen, man, I would rather have 2 or 3 faithful viewers come in, man, and watch me play and talk with me, man, than have 1,000 just rolling through, man. I couldn't read any of the comments. It would get too much. It'd be boring. But streaming's fun if you can find a way to enjoy it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I feel like we started the podcast a while back, but like the streaming part, my brother was doing it before me, and I was like, oh, he's doing it. Like, I thought he was crazy before the whole streaming started, because I used to hear him like next door just yelling and screaming. It was just like, it was just funny. But now I was like, wait, he became more comfortable, and like basically like I guess he became like affiliated with Twitch, and so I'm like, all right, that's cool. At least he's getting, I guess he's reaping the rewards that he put in the time, because he was doing it for years just for fun. But I feel like this is basically streaming. It's like I just started the streaming, and I was like, I feel like this is, for me, I'm doing it as like when we were back in the day before the whole internet and stuff, we used to have boys over or friends over and just stream, and they used to watch the plays. Basically, that's what I like. Not that that's what I'm like doing it as, but it's like I'm doing it as similar to like if I had people over and kind of share the same experience as we used to have back when we were younger, playing like used to go to a friend's house and play like, I don't know, like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, whatever, and like just talk smack about whatever. But it used to be like kind of like I guess would be first person, third person view of like them seeing your progress and seeing your reactions. Just, I don't know, that's the way I'm taking it as. And if it grows, it grows, and it's just doing it for fun.
Fair.
Brother JL.
All right, I was chewing. I don't want to bring it up on the mic. My bad. These popcorners are delicious, by the way. We're not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but hey, they're delicious.
130 calories, 2 grams of protein, and 16 chips. Can't beat that. Yeah, that's just a recommendation for Scott. Great snack, especially for work.
I appreciate that.
What is streaming to me? Streaming to me. Fuck, I never thought about that. I think I do the heaviest out of all of us right now. I recently picked it up.
Yo, can I say? I want to say something about you, Jay, man. When you first started to where you are now is leaps and bounds. Leaps and bounds, dude. Your channel has like literally evolved into this amazing thing, man.
A beautiful
You
community.
really put in that work I was just talking about, man. Like you put that real work. Your channel is like absolutely is awesome, man. I think if you keep putting that work in, man, you're gonna have more views, which you're constantly in double digits lately, which is really awesome. And I think like you keep doing it, man, you're gonna get more indefinite. I don't see you like, I think he's gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger, man.
Considering what Scott said, Scott is actually one of the few that inspired me to do this, because when we first met, all of a sudden he was on Twitch, and I was like, oh, cool, this guy's streaming and playing like League and games that I know. And I just didn't get it, like how it worked or any of that. That was probably like last year. And I didn't think of it the way I think of it now, because it's kind of evolved, as he was saying, into this tiny community. It's like max, like maybe 20 people. And, you got like 71 followers, but they're not always. And your viewership fluxes up and down. Like today, I was playing Cyberpunk randomly on Thursday. I peaked at like 7, and people showed up and chilled and hung out and lurked and whatever. But then there's some days when there's like 1 or 2, and I know that's not the time for everybody. You gotta understand people have lives. A lot of my followers are dads, like Scott, like my boy Eric, and the fact that they show up, I'm forever grateful of that. So
shout out
things
to
you have
too.
Oh, OMK as well was my first viewer. One of my first followers on Twitch was him watching me play Valhalla in the very beginning before I beat the story. And I got comfortable with him on there, and then I started posting clips here and there, and people saw what I was doing a little bit. I didn't take it serious. I was just like doing something in, the boring time of COVID, you know what I mean? But then I started to get the idea that, eventually I left my corporate job, And not that I chose this as a career, but I've been using this as a tool to bring people, into something that I don't know what it's going to be, whether or not I have like my own food truck or my own fitness business. I'm trying to be a PT part-time. I'm trying to use it to do home workouts and stream food. At one point, I don't want it to just be a game channel as much as I love video games, but if I can turn it into something that eventually turns into its own kind of business through merchandising or something like that, I'm totally down for it. Because in the end, my original goals from even when I was a kid were to be a broadcaster in some way. Never imagined be doing a podcast with Jay. So that's one thing. I've always wanted to do voice acting. So being able to project my voice and do different things, possibly in clips and things like that when I get creative with it at one point, that'd be dope too. But to bring people together was the original plan. And I always wanted to get our community healthy in some way, because I did it drastically, but I feel like people need to better themselves in a lot of ways. And if this can bring people under one roof, but not a physical roof, and they can still get the same inspiration from that and have live interaction instead of having to wait for a DM or a message or a bunch of different things, it's a great tool for communication. It's fun to watch people play games and be a boss at it. And some kids rage quit. Some people are way overzealous and are just like bullies on there too. Like, it's a very weird community Twitch wise. But live streaming as a platform, Jay does it on YouTube and Facebook. Those are great tools too. It doesn't have to be just Twitch, Scott giving me the respect from where I started and where I'm at now. I run it through an Xbox. I don't have a PC. So I'm doing a lot of bypass work to get my overlays done. I invest my own money. So I do have a job on the side of this. It's not just funding itself. The channel has a small amount of revenue, but that's because of support from people that actually care. I have a very few random followers. Most of the people that I have on there, I actually know, so people always want to come up and try it. You got to tell the people close to you first, like, hey, pop in. Hey, pop in. You can push them because you know them. You know what I mean? And it was a few of people that I knew closely, like the Shinobis and everybody else, OMK, JV, Nolan. They just started coming together. When you have that little 3-4 count, that 3-4 count turns into 7, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So I think of it that way. It's fun. It's also helped me grow myself personally. It's helped me break out of a shell and out of some depressive states. I like speaking on a platform in some way and sounding like I know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Oh, that's beautifully said, because honestly, doing streams at times is a little bit tough. You know what I'm saying? At times, I'm like toe-to-toe with JL. I could do it maybe 4-5 times a week, which is cool.
Have a good night.
But then I'm also like Scott. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes personal responsibility kicks in, and I just got to be like, you know what? Streaming is fun, but I got to take care of my business. When I think about streaming is just like just an outlet. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not the type of person that get like, digits. I just do it for the fun of it, because like the crazy part about it is like, even though the numbers doesn't show that there's like consistent viewership, I still get feedback in my personal life where they'd be like, oh, I saw you on, Facebook or whatever. I'm like, you did? And I'm like, yeah, and you were playing Pokemon. And I was like,
not everybody says anything either, People will
like,
view you and you won't know. And that's okay.
Like, and I look at them and I'll be like, bro, why don't you just pop in? Say hello. Let me know. Let me give you a shout out, because like I want to thank you for supporting me, because like at first I was like, JL, Twitch was a whole different world. I did not understand, but we did utilize. Fun fact for those who didn't know, season 2 of the Shinobi Unfolded was all on Twitch. So, yep, it was on Twitch, on Digidara's Twitch account, where we did all 24 episode, and unfortunately we don't have the archive for it, but we were introduced that way, and I didn't want to go into Twitch in that platform. Now I just do it because like there are games that I'm really, really passionate about, especially like anime games like Pokemon and stuff. Like those are my go-to.
We got way better, because first time we played, I whooped you. The second time we were like, all right.
No, that was wrestling, bro. That was wrestling.
No. The first time we tried the Pokemon, I was put it on, and I haven't played since like I don't know, the 90s. So I had some idea. I think it was ended up being like kind of back to back, but I won that round. Then a couple of weeks after we played, and you were like at it. And then I picked my team. I was like, oh shit, I have no chance with this guy.
Because what you're doing is you're confusing Pokemon when we was playing Naruto for the PS2 emulator. That's where you're confusing it.
But when we played for the 64 the first time, when we were testing. But I was like,
nobody touched me on Pokemon. You did not defeat me on Pokemon.
look it up. There's video of it. Look it up.
I got
Yo, he
the
said this.
It's on
I got
the
receipt.
internet.
Now,
There's video.
now, I'm not gonna lie. Now, what Lewis is referring to, and I think he's getting mixed up, is with Naruto, because I have Naruto for the PS2 emulator, and at first I was doing well. He finally picked up the combos combination, and then he started to win some rounds. So at the end, he had more wins than me on that first night than ever. I got to give him props when props due. But when it comes to Pokemon Stadium, boys and girls, and non-binary, nobody is going to touch me on that. You got to you better figure out what's my first pick before trying to claim you whoop my ass. But that's here.
I think you and M. Lamara might have to go at it if it's possible.
I want to go against Monty's little nephew.
Against Z.
Oh, yeah.
I want to go against
Come
Z.
on, man.
I want to take him old school because he's
Sounds
all about
personal.
he's all about the Generation Z and Generation X type. I'm like, yeah, no. Let's go old school. Let's go to the N64s. You know what I'm saying? We pick up our 6 like gentlemen and we go at it. You know what I'm saying? None
Come
of
to
that.
my block. Come
Exactly.
to my block.
Come to J Block right now, man. I got you, man. We take care of business.
This is my
You can't do this
block.
on your block. You gotta come to my block. My
These
mom
are
won't let
my
me go past the
Pokemon.
stairs.
This is my block.
Yeah, and honestly, I never talked this confidently about any video game because, like, remember when we
You don't. I'm surprised. This is the one, huh?
This is the one because when we did the live episode together and we played that what was it street we played
Streets of Rage.
Street of Rage.
You guys
I
were
was-
Streets of Rage?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
we played the
trash.
new one that they re-released it. No, you weren't trash. You
Oh, I
team
was
killing
trash.
the whole time. This guy, yo. Out of nowhere, no enemies in sight. All of a sudden, I'm getting thrown off a roof. Roland's getting stabbed in the back with a knife. He's like, "Yo, he's team killing." No one noticed for a while. No, Professor pointed it out.
Thanks.
Oh man,
Love
that's
that.
when we had the reunion. That's what we were playing.
And
Scott, you were there, bro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was team killing because I was not my repertoire, but now I found my repertoire and I'm very confident about it. So that's what I like about streaming is being able to show not only my strength but also my weakness, and and also having the right group of people to be able to support you as well. Because like JL was with me earlier. I was playing Uno. Uno is one of my favorite games, and I betted big, real big, and lost terribly. And JL was right there, was like, "Man, you got it next time." I'm like, "Yo, you right, you're right." Almost made my money back, but still, by money, I'm talking about the coins in the game, not actual money.
Wasn't actually gambling.
Yeah, but it's the support. I appreciate people like JL. I appreciate Lewis. I appreciate Scott because those are one of the few people. Also, OMK, y'all come through and through. And when I see y'all supported me, I feel like, you know what? I do have a community. I do have a support circle. I definitely have people who actually care about. And if numbers come, numbers come. If it doesn't, it doesn't. To me, I just do it fun. So that's what I like about streaming. Now, when we're talking about streaming, guys, and anime in a shape or form, what is that one game that you guys could think of that could be your go-to or something that you would like to use or play on your streaming services?
As far as like an anime game itself,
Game itself, yeah.
One Piece Pirate Warriors is one that I play. I haven't streamed it just yet, but it is Dynasty Warrior style with One Piece inserted into it. You get a whole cast of characters. You get to upgrade them. It would be okay. It would be an easy game to stream because I can mash the buttons and know what I'm doing looking at the screen because it's the same like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a heavy kind of setup. You can do multiple different combos within that setup. So you don't really have to look at the screen. It's just endless hordes of guys. You end up killing like 1,200 dudes per match. Like it's just massive armies and waves coming at you. But besides that, Cyberpunk's my go-to right now.
Yes,
it's got, it's pulled the most views for me personally, but that's because I put the dedication into it. The same with Valhalla. Valhalla is my other go-to. It's one of my signatures. I posted a lot about it. The game is beautiful. I'm still enjoying the DLC.
I have
Have you played it?
I I played all of them since like the beginning.
I don't care for the story, bro. But
I'm not saying it's like my least favorite, but it's my least favorite.
Really? Well,
yeah.
I think Odyssey and Origins are better.
I prefer Black Flag over just a story.
Oh yeah,
Black Flag.
Yeah, let me agree with that. Black Flag is dope. I gotta play that.
I think
it's
3 in Revelations. I like the story, so I feel like I played those. Then it kind of builds up to it. The one from Egypt was good. I think the one, I think it was Odyssey. The one he's in Athens and Spartan. That was really. I like the fighting.
The magic.
And just some of the story and things that you're gonna do. It's crazy. Like you have to hook up with an old lady. It's just crazy shit. And
I'll say the reason that it's my favorite.
Like,
the reason it's my favorite is those others have like better design qualities, but this one just aesthetically, I just love Vikings. I love going into a village, ransacking and just messing up everybody in the most brutal way possible. Like that's what it offers.
Yeah,
the stealth isn't really there. They're not ninjas. You know what I mean?
And then assassins until later on.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, I just didn't like. I'm so used to the other ones that you get right into the game. This one, I didn't know that. Like the first, I don't know. I spent like 4 hours in the beginning. I'm like, where is the people? I know it's like training, like the prequel before you start like moving into like, I guess into England. I'm like, I spent all this time for nothing. Like but now I got into it. It's better, but it's the first. I was just like.
It took a little bit to suck me into, but I still have like 180 hours clocked in it right now, and that's from side questing.
Damn.
Yeah. That's small compared to what I've done to Skyrim, fellas. That's not.
Oh, Skyrim's another one. That's like, that one's good.
Skyrim, man.
I did that for Origins. I had like 100 and something, and I deleted the whole thing and started over.
Shout out to Dr. Danny for being my side quester. She was pulling chests and everything off the map for me while I was napping a few of those days. So. Yeah, she would go in and I would wake up. I'd have new armor things. I'm like, dope.
Lewis, so what's that anime online game you would like to?
I would say for now, I played all the Pokemon one. I started streaming the Pokemon one. That's kind of my go-to for the Switch. But I like more sports games. So like Madden or basketball. It's just funny. I'm good at basketball, but I'm bad at the same time. So I've been creating my guy. That because I like creating the person and like bumping them up. So like when you start with a guy, he's horrible. Yeah. So it's just like it's just funny. It's just trying to figure it out. But Madden and even fighting games, I might start playing like a bunch of like different fighting games. But
Senpai, would Phantasy Star Online count as an anime game?
Ooh, good question.
Because I'm literally downloading the new updated.
They don't have an anime,
but it is on anime like aesthetic.
I think so. Indefinite, man. Like the way it's all set up, character design wise.
I know Genshin Impact is super anime.
Well, that's hella anime.
Yeah, which
Phantasy Star, I think would definitely fall into that one.
Even all right, I'll throw that out there. Yeah, I'm downloading the new one as we speak that came out yesterday or today.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like version 2 of it or whatever, but they've like changing the whole landscape of the game with it. So I'm hoping that it's they're doing it like a ground up from it or some shit.
And also, I got a question. Like, will you consider Mario as an anime?
Yeah, no.
Because they have animated, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
that goes to the other episode for like that. That goes back to that episode.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just.
But if we break it down, right? Mario was created where? Japan, Nintendo. You know what I'm saying?
It's also an Italian plumber.
Yeah,
who marketed to the United States,
who look like Mexican. We get the joke. But again,
he's the best character ever.
But again, if we really break it down, it is fall into that gray area. Like, is it truly, anime, or is it just US?
Because they had their own series too back in the day when they were like anime, like
but it started like as a video game and only a video game.
Castlevania as well.
Yeah, but Mario started out. But both of those started out.
Castlevania is that the animation is definitely more anime than Mario on every level.
Yeah,
like,
100%.
But they both started. The origin story wasn't like the video game before it became more like a series that we all able to love and enjoy.
The style of it that just goes into Mario's a cartoon out of anything.
I mean,
it's an American cartoon, man. But it's
early
animated, but. I don't think it'll fall into the same category as like.
Let me just defend myself from the other episode. I wasn't trying to make like Americanize certain animations that were done like
of course
when we were kids. I wasn't considering Disney anime of any kind. So I don't think Mario should be the same kind of thing.
as the US cartoon then versus anime?
In a video game sense, it should just be considered a game character. If there was an actual Super Mario anime with Japanese style, or the way that they did it on Stick Death a long time ago, or Newgrounds, whatever it was.
Stick Death.
There was a Mario animation where he was totally badass and was just crushing all the mushrooms with like this crazy hammer. He was tall, he was jacked, he looked like Popeye. It was wild. No, that's as close to that is wild. That's as close as Mario will get the anime in my opinion.
Oh, okay. By the
I think I'm with you on that, man. Because it's kind of like mangas, Japanese, comics, the comics here.
But Lewis, is that your go-to game to stream either way?
Yeah, I like those like old Mario. I like playing the old ones.
You just rage quitting all the time, like
no. I try to play until like because remember when we were younger, we were never able to finish the game. Oh, like because our parents told like shut the game off, or you just shut the TV off because you couldn't shut the console because you couldn't save it. So like now it's like nice.
Mega Man, Mega Man is down to
Oh my! Gotta write down those numbers. Write down those numbers so you know what the passcode is, so you can go back.
A number.
No save points.
Yo, Lewis, you should look into speed running, man. If you like playing those old school Mario games, you should look into speed running.
Yeah.
But I've seen those other people do it. And I'm like, how do you like? I don't know. I like collecting. I like everything. Like I'm probably the opposite. Like instead of speed running, like I like getting every coin, everything.
You're a looter.
I know,
they got 100% categories, man. Yo, I'll put you on there. I'll send you a link.
100% playthrough.
Lewis sound like the guy that plays Sonic, and if you miss the first emerald,
I go back.
The whole game.
Yep, I go back and like
one emerald.
You can't miss it. You're not going to become supersonic without it.
Yeah. Facts. Good point. All right, so there was and Scott, what's your anime before we jump out?
Anime?
Anime online gaming go to.
Yo, so it is being turned into an anime right now, and I mentioned it earlier, man. Whenever I'm playing games, if I have a second, man, I'm pretty much 30 to 40 minutes for one game, man. I'm usually playing League of Legends, man. That's like my go-to game. I love playing it. I love to hate it and hate to love it, man. Because
that's how that game works. Because it's frustrating as hell, especially when you don't have a good team. But like any multiplayer game online nowadays, it's always frustrating.
You need to while Scott collect his thoughts. Guys, I forgot to mention this in the beginning. Please make sure you follow the Shinobi Unfolding. You know what I'm saying, on the YouTube and on the Facebook. That's where we're mostly hype on. Audio content is posted on Sundays, and you can hear it in all of your favorite podcasts. Back to Scott.
Thanks, man. So but I more recently, I think about a year and a half ago, when they had Worlds, they actually said that they had a few projects coming up, and one of them was an anime actually that they decided to make. So pretty excited about it because they're actually going to showcase a lot of the characters from the game and a specific like town that's in the world, which is going to be really cool too. They have like 2 trailers out already, and you really get to see some of the cool characters. One of them's like a mischievous rowdy girl, Jinx. Like she literally rolls around with a rocket launcher that turns into like a minigun, and she just like causes a lot of trouble, like kind of like Joker status, like Harley Quinn status, more or less, like around the town. And you have this other character, Vi, who's like pretty much a cop, and she goes around like capturing all these people, and like she's pretty much like their arch nemesis, even in the game when you look at their backstory and more. And there's like a bunch of other little side characters that you're going to get to meet in this world too, which is really good. And the animation's pretty clean. It's 3D-ish anime, but Riot's putting up all the money for it, so it's probably going to look really good. Ooh. And it's funny because it's actually going to Netflix, which also already has Dota, that's an anime. And that's also an online game as well. So it's really funny because like it's in real life. It's a game expansion
brought into animation. That's the crazy part.
Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be dope, man.
It's not even the core game. It's an expansion that got brought to life. That's wild.
I love it. I'm glad. And these companies have more money than Disney, more or less. So they don't have more money than Disney, but like they're pretty big titans, man. So like animation quality should be pretty top notch.
I'm speechless, but yet very impressed because I would like to see Dota now because I didn't know it was more of an expansion from the video game itself.
Yeah,
it looks clean, man. We can check it out.
Interessante. Friday night movie night, I guess. Hey. So we're at the end point of the program, guys, and usually we like to do is what we recommend a special anime dear to our heart that we feel like it will benefit you people in a special way. So, Scott, real quick, what would be the manhwa, or I know you're into the reading stuff, so what would be the manga or manhwa you would like to recommend the people?
I was so glad you said that, man, because I was just like, oh man, he said anime. I was like, oh, but I only had was a manhwa for this. But honestly, I was just talking to somebody in JL's Discord, man, about this. It's an isekai manhwa, and it's called The Beginning After the End. And it's pretty dope. It follows this character, Arthur, who literally is like the king of his country, and he just goes to sleep one night and he's talking about how he wishes he was better for his country, and things they could be better, and he dies in his sleep suddenly, and he sees the white light, and he's like, oh, must be what dying is. Everybody always explains they see this white light. It's like, I'm hoping I'm going to a better place and stuff. And the white light that he sees is actually him being birthed into another world, starting out as a baby.
Similar to slime?
No, he's an
Just
older
reborn as a
gentleman,
baby?
and he's just reborn, and that white light is him coming out of the birth canal, and he's a baby, but he's still mentally, he's still like an adult, and he has all of his thoughts, but he can't talk because he's a baby. So you literally the first 20 chapters or so,
Worst nightmare
him,
ever.
But
yes, dude.
yo,
Go ahead, Jay.
But no, but I wanted to make that sign comparison because when I was reincarnated as a slime, that first episode, when after he died and he's transitioned into the other world, it's similar to what you just explained. Like his mind thought,
learning wise,
his mind thought be like, I want to have a body that could deal with hot and cold. I want to be able to remember everything, and he was able to transition everything when he became a slime. So that right there, the beginning to at end, got my attention.
Beginning at the end. So but the thing is, man, is imagine you now, but you're just in a baby's body. You still have all your cognitive thoughts. You're still an adult here, but you're in a baby's body. So he even he can't use the bathroom. So he soils himself, and he's just like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's his mom has to change him. Even when he starts learning to fight from his dad, he retains all of his muscle memory in his brain on how to fight, but his body is just a child, so he can't even maneuver things. It's oh, what were you trying to do there? It's it seemed like you were trying to move faster than what your body is capable of.
Wow,
it's pretty cool, man. Then magic's involved too, and because of his other world training, he's able to master magic at a young age as a human, where humans don't master magic until they're way into their teens, but him as an infant is able to start mastering magic. So it's pretty cool.
I'm into
and there's only 80 chapters out right now, so it's very easy to pick up.
Of the end. Very nice right there.
Thank you.
Lewis, do you have a anime / manga you would like to recommend our audience to check out?
I would say somebody that's not as expert like you guys into so much into manga, but also kind of getting into a little bit from slight promo for Prime Lucha Talk. I would say those that getting into anime and wrestling and stuff. I would say Ultimate Muscle. That it's
yes.
It's the video game, everything. It's just crazy, and it's a little bit. It's comical, has action, I feel like it's a good intro to wrestling and anime. So if you're a fan of both, it's perfect. And the video game, it's amazing too. It's hilarious.
Ultimate Muscle.
So, and also it's just funny, and the names of the character, Dick Van Dyke, and there's people it's just funny. It's just funny.
That was my Saturday morning shit, man. Oh my god.
I will say that, and I'm we talked earlier. I'm hooked on My Hero. I'm just want to see what they have to come out, but I would say those two are the ones I'm into right now.
If you haven't caught up on this season, you need to.
I'm letting it build up. I'm not too worried about it.
Take your time, man. Take your time, Jay. It's always gonna be there for you, man.
Oh no, I no. Listen, when I did my Haikyuu binge, it was the most magical thing ever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And knowing the discussion that we had earlier about the My Hero Academia, you know what I'm saying? I just want to binge that in one day. I just want to enjoy it in all in one cycle, not wait or
That would be fire.
or the cliffhanger, type of emotion. Nah, I just want to do that all in those 6 hours, like boom, 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 and be happy. You know what I'm saying? But JL, what you got, Papa?
A little throwback to my catalog.
Throwback.
It's Toriko. It's an anime that ruined itself, but I believe the manga is still ongoing in a lot of ways. The studio definitely trashed it at the end, but there is an insane connection to food that the anime portrays in the beginning. It's a world setting where animals and food monsters and chefs and hunters. It's a crazy amalgamation of just a lot of different shonen concepts brought together. The main character's name is Toriko. Uses like a knife stance on one hand and a fork stance on the other. Then he's got I forgot what his leg is. It's not like the literal form of those. When he does his attacks, he names them after like utensils that you use at the table. He's kind of the Goku character. He was a part of the Big Four when they had it. Their first animation of it. It was Luffy, Goku, Naruto, and then Toriko. The anime was on its way to do big things. It had a great setting. The landscapes and everything that they posted were just fantastic. And I just loved the development. But then it came to a point where it didn't seem like they knew what they were doing. And I think I showed Jay the big Pac-Man monster thing that happened. It was a terrible way for a great show to go out. But there is a beginning to it that even if you just get to a point where you don't like it anymore, there is a strong beginning, maybe like the first, I want to say, 50 to 60 episodes. You meet a lot of characters that you want to see later on that you never get to see later on. There's a character with the tepe hair that's a total badass, and you only get to see him once or twice. I think Scott knows what I'm talking about. There's levels of the monsters that are in the world that you never get to explore or see them fight because they don't end up going to those lands. So there's a lot of letdowns, but great characters in the beginning. The animation was tight for a little while, and then it lets loose. But I thought I had good heart at the start. So it was very heartbreaking for me for what happened, but I still love that show because there's one key thing to it, and it makes you appreciate food in a way that you wouldn't expect to.
Now,
because the character.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, finish. No, finish.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The main character comes to a point where his body has absorbed much food, and eventually he's on this path that's just endless, and he can't sustain himself. Eventually, his body starts to kind of eat itself in a way. So he starts to get like less muscular, starts to break down, and then he learns how to appreciate, just simple appreciation, kind of like a Zen thing, and he starts to appreciate all the parts of him that have become stronger because every time he eats a piece of food, he learns like a new ability or something that came from the animal that he fought to gain it. So there's just a little circle of life concept in there. It's pretty cool, and as a chef, it's pretty dope.
So the guy from My Hero, copy that. There's one hero that whatever he eats, he gets. Let's say he ate octopus. His
Not in that sense.
Sun Eater.
Yeah.
Sun Eater.
No, not in that sense. He gets a certain measure of strength from him.
Okay.
He doesn't bring those food items to form. Each of the four main characters have their own separate set of abilities. Toriko is just a beast with his physical abilities. If you see a compilation video of how he fights, it's pretty cool with attacks. I will say that.
No, like what I was gonna ask you was like, so between Food Wars and Toriko, which of the two would you be like, you know what? When it comes to food, this anime showed like a great presentation of it. Like, which one would it be?
I'll be honest. I will say Toriko in that regard because when they're doing the food, and then when it comes to like the hunting concept, it's pretty dope. They are very on point. The animation for the food as well. I mean, the animation of Food Wars as far as food is incredible too. But they jump onto that isekai ramp humor, pervy stuff a little too often for my taste sometimes. So I just kind of barrel through the episodes. But with Toriko, they have their moments just like any other shonen, but it's a shonen. So it had its, they had the emphasis on the food in a different way, I will say. But I preferred Toriko's portrayal versus the way Food Wars is, everybody's clothes busting off all the time. Like you see it kind of happen in Toriko when they eat things as well, but not the way Food Wars does it with like an entire stadium of just this quote unquote rumbling. Yeah, like one of the legendary god tongues eats something, and when they enjoy it, there's this thing called a rumbling that happens, and you had to be like a chosen line of like blood family, and like this vibrations just start emanating in the air, and everybody's clothes fly off for some ungodly reason. It just makes no sense.
I haven't seen Toriko. I definitely have to take a look at that one because of the culinary stuff. But I enjoyed the Food Wars because I feel like some of the stuff, like little things, like if you're in the industry, like there was one episode that they were cooking. They give him, I don't know, 20 minutes to cook something, and another group sabotaged what they were cooking. And he came and sorry, give me a second. He just did whatever, and he fixed it. Everybody's like, "Oh, how you fix it?"
Oh,
like,
the gotcha roast.
Yeah, and he's like, they did something, and I'm like, I appreciate that because it's like that stuff really happens in culinary school and real life. That's like you figure out.
He wrapped potatoes in bacon and roasted it, and it came out like a steak, and it was called a gotcha roast. So it was still meaty with the potatoes, but it was crispy bacon on the outsght to cook it slow enough. Yeah, gotcha, bitch. You thought you ended my fridge? You thought you had my restaurant?
Hungry, Jay. You get some food.
Well, that is really, really good stuff. And
Jay, I would love to watch Toriko with you, man.
I would love for you to do that too, but I know we got to make that time. You know what I'm saying? Like streaming wise, maybe if we could get away with it.
I mean, we could watch it and stream and co-stream and react. We couldn't show the actual show though.
You can just put the sound or whatever.
And then we can talk about it. No, you can't even put the sound, but you can talk about it.
Okay, yeah, okay.
We could talk about it. Yeah.
Rumble, now kind of briefly talking about food before we head out. Rumble, back in the day, fighting food ons, that was hilarious. But it was it was good. That was like the best thing ever.
I sent that studio a drawing of my food and they never made it.
Yeah. They make the recipe and that recipe turns into like an animal, like Pokemon or whatever. So he makes like, I don't know, this one, he makes a hot dog. So his thing, it's like a cowboy hot dog on it. So he got a gun of mustard and a gun of ketchup. They fight. It's so funny. It's like everything from back in the. It's so
We're gonna have to have a food episode on season 5 like, because this is really, really interesting stuff.
What a name!
It's the best thing ever. What? But like, so it depends. Like, it's funny because then it depends how spicy you make your food. The spicier it gets, the evil the food gets.
Yeah.
So you have to control your seasonings and stuff. It's the funniest thing ever. But if you get able to watch it, it's funny and
terrible animation.
But it was entertaining for
really
back
bad.
in the I'm
just letting them know ahead of time. It's really bad.
And also
it's
it was
really funny,
early 2000, 2004, 2000.
That was Foxbox, bro. That's when One Piece first came out.
It was matter of fact, I used to watch it because it was 4Kids TV back in the day. We used to watch the Saturdays and but it was funny. Like it was a good watch, but it's for now it's bad.
It. What an episode.
Yeah.
So for me, y'all know I like some of my old school, but I also like some of the new school as well. This one just came out not too long ago. It has a season 2 that I believe finished not too long ago itself. I mentioned it earlier during the podcast. It's called When I Was Reincarnated as a Slime. Think about this. You sacrifice yourself and you get stabbed. And the one thing you tell or leave behind is to destroy your computer. Now,
clear my bowels of history.
Dump my computer in water. That's what occurred. But that's not really the major point. The major point is while your body is transitioning to this other world, you know what I'm saying? You are communicated with this universe, this spirit, where it allows you to be able to relive again, to be reborn to a creature of choice. And with all the element that you decide and manifest, you turn out to becoming a slime, just a slime ball. Now, episode 1, you just learned that you became a slime. Episode 2, you encounter one of the greatest creature that this anime could ever offer, and you befriend him, and you allow him to give his power to you, and you become one of the most baddest ass dude ever.
Quite the story.
The creatures around you respect you. You gained a community from the goblins to the wolves to the ogres to like kingdoms. The storyline of season 1 is so beautiful. When I was reincarnated as a slime, you got to give it a try because honestly, a little bit rushed. I'm not gonna lie, storyline is a little bit rushed. Could have been better, but the storyline, fighting scene, and also design and animation, Mwah. Priceless. I love it. I recommend it. If you like season 1, you're definitely going to love season 2. So once again, guys, thank you again for being able to be here again. As you can see in each box, these are our stream pages. Those who are watching it on the YouTube channel, please go support, like, follow these guys on their twitch.tv. They'll appreciate you as much as I appreciate you guys being able to be here at our endpoint of this episode. Please be sure again to follow the Shinobi Unfolding on all of the social media podcasts, especially, on Sundays. That's where we release the audio. But if you're a visual learner, if you like seeing our beautiful faces, Wednesdays, that's where we're going to release it. So, Luis, thank you again for coming through.
Yeah, no problem.
JL, thank you for coming through. Scott, thank you for coming through. Shinobi Unfolding, buenas noches. Good night or good morning if you're listening to it. Peace.
Ohio.
Ohio.
Yo!